Hey guys, so I'm gonna make a full leveling guide for the upcoming event. This is gonna be a shadow leveling guide, and you can use this for any shadow build in the game, but it'll be namely for Ellie Hit or Lightning Strike respec later on, the two builds I made guides for. So you want to level as non-Ellie Hit or non-Lightning Strike because the shadow tree is really bad for the skills. You don't get +1 strike from Lightning Strike until a very long time. Your starting nodes are really bad. There's too much traveling. PT's all the way down here. So if you're wondering why we're not leveling as our main skill, because you can't really do that shadow without being like essentially easy DPS. So you're kind of forcing this chaos playstyle, and there's two ways to do this. You can either level as Cobra Lash / Viper Strike / Blade Trap, or you can level as Peacock. I'll give you both options, but the leveling I'm going to do is going to be Cobra Lash. Now this leveling was extremely smooth. It's one of the fastest leveling builds I ever have done, period. One of my fastest campaign runs, in fact. While doing it the first time, I didn't even practice for more than like Act 1. My first time doing Act 3 with this build was like 1 hour. I think I completed Act 5 in 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's an extremely fast campaign build, even if you're brand new to this playstyle, because it's very, very simple. I want to go over everything you need to know about leveling with this build. Just to show you some quick gameplay clips of what this build looks like in Acts. It is quite absurd, especially in Act 3 after you get your Ascendancy point. So this is Dominus. And if you can preload your traps and when you get envy, you just immediately kill the boss. I'll go to the next phase as well. Same deal, even better on this because there's a bigger hitbox. But yeah, the boss immediately dies with this build. It's quite satisfying and quite fun for leveling, to be honest. So yeah, that's like the early campaign damage. At the end of campaign, the damage does fall off a little bit. You do want to swap to Viper Strike eventually, which I'll explain. But yeah, this is Merc Labizarro, essentially the last boss you're going to fight. And this is me at level, I believe, 61. And I don't even have Withering Step here, which would also be 30% more damage, but as you can see, your damage is still extremely good. So the first question would be, why are we leveling as Arbor Colony and not like Surfcaster or Blind Prophet? It's for this skill right here, Malevolent Strands, 2 Ascendancy points, grants level 15 Envy. So what is level 15 Envy? Level 15 Envy gives 140 flat chaos damage. If you're wondering, how strong is this? For reference, Anger at level 30, the same time you do Lab, is only 22 to 31 flat damage, meaning this Envy skill we're getting is 5 times more powerful than an Anger, and it's equal to a level 19 Anger in terms of flat damage. It is absurd for level 30. It does feel like it kind of falls off like level 50, so like Act 8 to Act 10, but when you swap the Viper Strike, the damage is still extremely good. So yeah, this makes campaign a breeze, and even before you get Envy in Act 1 and Act 2, it still feels very, very good. I'll have a full link down below to my Twitch that shows Act 1 to Act 5. I'll timestamp it for you guys in the description if you want to watch it for yourself, but it's extremely good. I simulated the level experience by using the rune chant for my claw. This way I could put Envy on my claw and use it for campaign to simulate how the level feels, and yeah, it feels absolutely amazing. Now let's go over the POB real quick, everything you need to know about this build. Like I said, you can play Poison Conch or Cobra Lash. I personally prefer Cobra Lash, and I think the time's actually faster for Cobra Lash because of said Envy. Envy is not as good for Peacock because Peacock already has an absurd amount of flat damage. It's better for skills that have really high damage effectiveness, stuff like Cobra Lash and stuff like Blade Trap. So do read the notes for this section. I also do have a full skill tree as well, going over all the levels, 12, 22, 32, 38, 50, and 60. So this shows all the skill points you need to know, and the notes will explain all the skills you should be using each act. So Act 1, Act 2, I also tell you which gem you need to buy. If I don't have the gem listed here, that means you just get it as a quest reward. Yeah, Act 3, Act 4, and beyond. After Act 4 and beyond, the only thing you swap is Viper Strike in Act 5. And the reason why you swap the Viper Strike in Act 5, the damage of the skill is actually pretty absurd. It just feels pretty bad until you have attack speed and +1 strike range. And you pick up the +1 strike range in Act 5, and that's when you can swap the Viper Strike, and it's extremely strong. In Act 5, Act 6, you're going to be insta-killing bosses with Viper Strike. I know it's kind of weird, like what playing Viper Strike, but Envy actually makes it so good for the campaign process. And before then, you're playing Blade Trap. So how this build works, and just so you're aware, Cobra Lash is your clear skill, Blade Trap, and then eventually Viper Strike is your boss killing skill / rare. So if you're attacking a rare, you want to use Blade Trap. If you're killing a boss, you want to only use Blade Trap. You don't press Cobra Lash for bosses unless like you're completely out of range. That is how the build plays. It's very important to know because Cobra Lash does not really do boss damage. It's pretty lackluster there, but it's insane for clear. We will one-shot pretty much every white pack and then like 2 or 3 hit every single magic pack. It's really, really good because poison is pretty strong early on, especially when you get 140 flat chaos damage. The POB is also color coded as well for the gem links and all the gems. Also read this area as well. So you want to be dual wielding claws the whole way through. You ascend into the Aracali Ascendancy and you take Envy, and you don't want to take any other Ascendancy point. You want to still do Crew Lab, but don't spend your Ascendancy points. This is important because the gold respec and how many respecs you have are limited. You just take an Envy and only use an Envy throughout the campaign, and it's more than enough to finish the campaign. And then you want to swap to LS or LA Hit, depending on what you're playing, after completing Merc Lab. So you complete Merc Lab, it's Aracali, and then after you kill a Zaro, you can respec your Ascendancy, and then when you touch the altar, it'll give you the option to change. So this is how you want to do it. You say it's Aracali, kill Merc Lab or Zaro, spec into Ascendancy you want to play. In this case, it'll be Blind Prophet if you're following my build. You'll have your 6 Ascendancy points to use, and you'll be ready to kill Katava and then go into Mappin. Another thing to note, if you're following my build once again, if you're playing Lightning Strike, you want to make sure you're leveling Lightning Strike, Inspiration, and Anger in your weapon swap. And if you're playing Lightning Arrow or Early Hit, my other build, you want to level Lightning Arrow, Artillery Ballista, and 2 Inspirations. So you would just level these in your weapon swap. And the reason why you want to level these weapon swap is so when you're switched, they're high level gems and not level 1, because level 1 gems would be pretty weak. So yeah, make sure you're leveling those gems in your weapon swap for either Lightning Strike or Early Hit. So I think the last thing to talk about here is the respec. So once you reach level 60, and when you do Merc Lab, that's when you're going to respec, preferably around level 60, level 62, maybe level 63 at most. You don't want to do it at a high level because the higher level you are, the more gold it's going to cost you to respec. If you do it at a higher level, let's say level 68 or level 70, it's still fine. You probably won't be able to respec your whole tree. You'll probably have like 5 or 6 or 7 dead points, but that's fine. You can do some early mapping, do like 5 white maps, get enough gold, and then finish your respec. If you're playing my Lightning Strike build, I have these drop downs for a loadouts right here, but I also have a separate tree only drop down, level 2 respec at the lab. This is the respec you'll do once you finish lab. It's a level 62 tree, which is where you should be when you kill a Zaro. And of course, I also have one for my bows as well. Once again, it won't be here in the loadouts, but it will be in the skill tree. Level 65, this is the Zaro respec. Now for Lightning Strike, their respecs are fine. I think it's around like 30 to 35 skill points total. You get 21 from campaign, and then you can do like up to 20 through gold. So you have more than enough respecs for claws, but for bows, you're kind of tight on respecs. You can still do it, but you might have like, 5 dead poison nodes. You might not be able to respec all of it right at the start, which is fine. You can just like 5 white maps and have enough gold on respec. But if you don't want to deal with that, you can also play as Peaconk leveling, a tried and true level in Ascendancy. I'll also have this link down below as well. Peaconk is very, very smooth. There's multiple Peaconk videos on YouTube, but yeah, I'll have this one linked down below. If you do level as Peaconk, it's kind of same deal, except you want to level as Surfcaster and take Ghost of the Deep. And it'll be the same deal as Aracali, where you still do Crew Lab, but you won't spec any points into the Ascendancy tree because you want to save points. So you're just doing Ghost of the Deep for the full campaign. And yeah, that's a way to level as bows if you want to do Peaconk instead, if you want to have a little bit less respec points, because this tree for bows is a little bit more preferable because you're already taking a lot of nodes that you would want to take on Ellie Hit. But yeah, that is another option as well. So yeah, I hope that explains everything you need to know about the leveling process of this build. Always read them notes. You can also see the skill tree progression. Hopefully this helps you. It's a very smooth leveling build. It was one of my fastest levels ever. I'm pretty sure I can do around like 3 hours on this build. For reference, I did Act 5 in an hour and like 45 minutes, and I think I completed Act 9 in 3 hours. So yeah, overall, this is an extremely fast leveler. Definitely one of the best levers in the new patch because Envy is just absolutely absurd and just makes you one-shot every single boss early on. Very, very strong. Anyway, if you have any comments, feel free to leave it below. If there's something I missed, I'll try to answer and I'll try to put in the guide. But yeah, that's about it.